Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we continue with the briefing dedicated to the development of family care in the Odesa region. Our guest is Zoya Shevelova, Deputy Head of the Children's Service of the Odesa Regional Military Administration. Good afternoon, and I'd like to give you the floor. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to emphasize the importance of our topic. It is very important to create for children proper conditions for their bringing up. Different types of these forms of care are important to create proper conditions for children deprived of the family care. So we're talking here about the status of children that are approved through documents. We have almost 5,000 of such children. And when it comes to care, adoption families, they are more than 4,000 children. In Odesa, we have 56 houses of family type with more than 400 children. There are 164 adoption family raising several hundred children. When it comes to the family forms, the adoption is the priority. So when the children are adopted into the family. And we have special services, the district and regional administrations which are responsible, and the services of the Odesa Regional Administration. Out of the general number of children, more than 1,000 children deprived of family care can be adopted. We have nine babies, from 1 to 34 children, from 3 to 5, 104 children, from 6 to 10, 272 children, from 11 to 17, 751 children. So this analysis shows that the children of bigger age are in more conditions to be adopted. More than 100 candidates for adoptions are in our family, and 12 persons are ready to adopt babies up to 1 year, up to 3, 40 persons up to 10 years, 13 persons from 10 to 18, 3 persons. But of course, the war has been affecting our children. The process of development of the family forms of care was delayed because of a range of important reasons. Citizens are not ready to adopt children because the situation is unstable. And one more important topic is the evacuation of our children abroad. Since the 9th of June 2023, with the amendments of the legislation, this is a decree of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine 586, we have renewed the adoption processes and the using of family forms for children now staying abroad. 11 future parents get acquainted with the children online. It was followed by face-to-face contact abroad, and after that 20 children will return to Ukraine to be brought up by adoption families and the children houses. 26 statements were sent to the candidates, including 12 to get acquainted with the children staying abroad. 2 children have already established contact and returned to Ukraine. with the following the guardianship and subsequent adoption by Ukrainian citizens. Since the beginning of the year, candidates have received 316 invitations, but only 26 persons were directed further to get acquainted to children. Perhaps this is related to the fact that not all citizens are ready to go abroad to get acquainted with children. Not all persons are ready to adopt children with some knowledges, and most candidates are willing to adopt preschool children, but as the statistics shows, the biggest number of children are children of the elder children. So there is the lack of the adoption of families and the houses of family forms of bringing. Those houses that we have are almost full. And I would like now to address the adoption families that have one or two children. According to our legislation, the adoption family is the family bringing up from 1 to 4 children. That's why I would like to address those citizens who are thinking about creating one of the family forms of upbringing. Please open your hearts to this very important mission of parentship, and please create families for such children and orphanages of the family type. It is very important, especially nowadays, because the most vulnerable group of the population is children. So please open your hearts for them. Thank you for the information provided. Could you tell us, please, do families from Odesa adopt internally displaced children from Mykolaiv and Kherson regions? No, the adoption has an established procedure. The internally displaced children which have been moved to Ukraine, they are recorded with the service which is responsible for them as of the place of their residence. So we do not have such facts at the moment. Our children who are on the who have been initially recorded, but they get acquainted with the candidates not from our region. These are the children who are staying abroad or in Ukraine, in Chernivtsi Oblast, or in the children's homes. You say that there is the lack of families that can adopt children, but please remind about the benefits such families get. There are no benefits for such families. If this family adopts from like around 3 or 4 children, then this family can use benefits envisaged by for large families. The adopting family is the family that adopts a child or children as if it were their own. If there is only 1 children, there are no benefits. If it's 3 plus, then this will be a large family using benefits. And what is the amount of the state support? So the first level is after giving birth. And I'm not ready to share with you the exact number. What about guardians? Are they subject to mobilization? The adoption families' parents, they are not subject to mobilization according to the current legislation. But there could be changes, but at the moment, no. Are there cases when people adopt children, but then they refuse? Unfortunately, there are such cases. Why it is unfortunately? Because this is a tragedy for a child, more not for a family. There are such facts. We have analyzed them, And mainly such refusals were seen when a small preschool child was adopted, but with this pubertation period of 13, 15 years, then there are problems with the children, and they are the facts when parents, they just refuse at this stage. So a child could live for 8 years in a family as adopted child, but then parents refuse. Do you have any statistics for the next 9 months of this year? How many families have refused from these children? I don't know the exact number, but the case that I've mentioned is a recent one, and that's why I can provide information about this case. Other cases when a child lives in a family for a certain period of time and then starts to complain about this family. Yes, we do have such cases. We've recently seen such case. A girl refused to live in a family after adoption. And there was a single father who adopted this girl, and then this girl refused to live in this family, and the adoption was cancelled. Do you have any information about the full-scale invasion period as for the number of adoptions? Yes, the number of adoptions have really decreased. In 2022, 98 children were adopted in the Odesa region. That information was provided by the ministry. Back then, in 2022, Odesa was one of the leaders when it came to adoptions. But this year, only 30 children have been adopted so far. But I've already mentioned the main reasons, important reasons, why we have seen some slowdown. But the process has activated starting from June, and we still have time by the end of the year. We have cases of new acquaintances between children and their possible future families, and we hope that children will find their parents and that the contact will be established and all these children will be adopted by the families. So before the full-scale invasion, we were one of the leaders. Do you have information about the current situation? And we will have accumulated results in January. We will monitor the situation and we will be able to publish the results about Odesa achievements. Dear colleagues, do you have any questions? No, there are no questions. I have one more question. The parents from abroad, and what children are most popular for adoption abroad, meaning the age of children? Different ages, but usually they adopt children of senior age, and they are not afraid of adopting children with some disabilities, contrary to our citizens. So we also have the cases with the family groups of children when 2, 3 children are adopted, but such approach is more popular among foreign citizens, and also children with disabilities are more adopted by foreign citizens. What about the procedure? The procedure is more complex for foreign citizens because we have the full-scale invasion, the full-scale war. That's why there is no adoption allowed for foreign citizens. It is only allowed for our citizens to adopt children, not foreign citizens. Do you have addresses from the citizens of Belarus or Russia? We haven't seen any so far. So sometimes it's not about adoption, but about guardianship, custody. But it is prohibited by the current law to adopt children from the occupied territories. So the adoption process is ongoing only on the governmentally controlled territories. And what countries are the most popular for adoption of children? Those which are the neighboring countries of Ukraine. But we have representatives from different countries that people address to us to adopt Ukrainian children. Thank you very much for the information provided. That was Zoya Shevelova, Deputy Head of the Children's Service of the Odesa Regional Military Administration. We will continue at 1 p.m.